as you've probably observed, particularly amongst Black academicians, Black lawyers, even civil rights leaders of the past, have been beginning the opening of this relitigation of Brown v. Board, and whether or not that should have been our fight, and whether or not the Supreme Court decided rightly, or should Plessy v. Ferguson still be, which is, for those, I think all of us know this as shorthand, but, Plessy v. Ferguson, the decision that basically says separate but equal.
But it really meant unequal.
Right. But it inherently unequal, right? And then, of course, the fight became around how it is that we have integration and equality by virtue of basically the mixing of the races in our public education system. And I don't know if you've entered that fray of conversation, and whether some of this feels a little sacrilegious even to me. I got to tell you because I'm so faithful to the work that was done there, but it did beg the question as we ask. I talked to some of the old heads that I know who live around, who are in my family, and there's some real striking divergent opinions about whether or not we should have kept us, or if integration was the right fight to be had.
Yeah, I have weighed into this a little bit because I also know Mychael Harriot, and so you can't know Mychael Harriot without having to form an opinion about this. So the first thing I want to say about integration and Brown v. Board of Ed specifically as a legal case was that you have to remember that the Black people pushing not just Brown v. Board of Ed, but all of the other associated integration cases were not asking for integration. We were asking for our money back, right? Brown v. Board of Ed is the top line case, but there was another case in South Carolina that was consolidated into the same case about integration. And what they were asking for was not co-equal Black and white schools. They were asking for a bus so that Black students could get bused to their Black school, as opposed to having to walk 8 miles literally in the rain and swamps of North Carolina when the white kids had 10 buses. Give us one. We pay taxes. Give us a bus for our kids. That was what they were asking for. Not to go to the white school, but to have the opportunity to make the Black school as best and accessible as it could be with the taxpayer money that the whites were already extracting from our community. And the answer from the Supreme Court was not give Blacks the money that they have put into the system. It was throw them into the white schools and then they can't bitch anymore, right? Which is an answer, right? But the actual ask was give us our money back. And you see this happen all the time in litigation around Black issues, where we're asking for one thing. And even when we win, the court doesn't give us what we asked for. They give us something else. They give us what they think is the most beneficial for white people, even when they agree with our point, to say nothing of what happens when they disagree with our point, right? So on that kind of 30,000 foot look at integration, always remember the quest for integration was not the quest to have the opportunity to eat lunch with Chip Harrington II. I don't give a damn about Chip. I don't need to hang out with Chip. I want the money. I want the money that our people have put into the system to come back out to our people at the equivalent rate. And that is what white people have always denied us, right? That's number one. Number two, on the kind of social questions of integration, I grew up I am an integrated man, right? I went to predominantly white schools. I was the only Black kid in most of my schools and most of my classrooms. And that was difficult, right? That has scarring, psychological scarring, other scarring. I know Pearl Jam's lyrics better than I know Nas's, right? Like it's just
what?
I do. I can sing you a Pearl Jam song right now at the drop of a hat.
Let me hear.
Give me some Tom Petty.
Just real quick.
Tom Petty. She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around. Like, I can do them all, right? Because I went to white schools, and that's just how I'm gonna roll, right? So that scarring, never goes away. I do believe that integration was great for white folks, because Chris Rock has this great joke. All Black people can do is wait for better white folks to show up. The white folks right now, a little bit better than the white folks 100 years ago. Hopefully in 100 years, there'll be some even better white folks. Right?
That's your Chris Rock?
That's my Chris Rock.
That's about right. Depends on the movie.
Right? Like you got to, like integration, I provided value to the white folks who met me. Right? Throughout all of my education, right? I was doing double duty. I was educating myself, but I was also educating them.
Yeah.
And now those white people are better off for having met me. Their children are better off for having met me. Their children are better off from having met my kids. I am an educator of white folks, right? And that is part of the way that we make a better generation of white people. So kind of utilitarianly speaking, I think integration was great for the country. Was it great for me personally? I don't know. That's hard to say because it's hard to then unravel all of the other things. If integration comes, but the money doesn't come, then it was clearly then segregation was clearly worse for me. In this kind of Wakanda future where we don't have integration, but we do have all of our money, am I better or worse off? That's really just hard to say, right? It's hard to project into some truly at that point science fiction future where Black people receive all of the resources we need and deserve and then live in a separate society. If the white folks ever, it'd be interesting to try, right? If the white folks ever wanted to pay us back, give us our reparations, give us our back pay, and then give us the land that we should have, right? I don't know that we're worse off then. You want to get, because I'm always like, you got to give reparations, but reparations without land means nothing. So we'll take whatever. We'll take New York, New Jersey, New England. We'll just take all that. Y'all can have Texas or whatever. We'll take our little enclave, north of Philly, south of Bangor. Like, let's go. Give us the money back, and we'll see what we can do. I think we would thrive in that situation. And I would like to play that out, but you understand, Andrew, that is a science fiction play. That is not something that's actually going to happen. Given what white people are actually willing to do, I think integration is probably the best answer.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.